Good after morning, everyone. Today we're doing something a little different. Same engine, same badge, two completely different cars. The BMW M3 E46 versus the BMW Z4M. They share an engine block, bolt for bolt, but they ended up as two of the most different driving experiences BMW has ever built from one piece of hardware. One's a coupe built to dominate the Nürburgring. The other's a roadster built to be the sports car BMW had never quite made before. Only one of them can win this head-to-head. Let's find out which. BMW M was founded back in 1972, originally as a motorsport division, building racing engines before it ever touched a road car. For decades, M built its reputation one engine at a time, and by the early 2000s, it had produced what many still consider its golden era masterpiece, the S54. A naturally aspirated 3.2-liter inline-six, hand-assembled, redlining at 8,000 revolutions per minute, with individual throttle bodies for instant response. At launch, it was the most powerful naturally aspirated engine BMW had ever built outside of the legendary McLaren F1, which BMW also powered. That single engine went on to live two completely different lives. In one car, it powered a four-seat coupe engineered to be brutally fast on a racetrack while still hauling the kids to school. In the other, it powered a two-seat roadster with none of the practicality and twice the attitude. The M3 E46 arrived in 2000 as the third generation of BMW's benchmark performance car. Unlike its predecessors, it dropped the sedan body entirely, sold only as a coupe and convertible, and quickly became the car enthusiasts now call the last analog M3. Before electric steering, before turbochargers, before any of the modern conveniences that, depending who you ask, took a little soul out of the M badge. The Z4M came later, in 2006, 6 years after the M3 launched. BMW took that same S54 engine and dropped it into the smaller, lighter E85 Roadster and E86 Coupe platform. It was never going to outsell the M3. It was rarer, its styling more divisive, especially the coupe, with its long bonnet and short, stubby tail that some called striking and others called strange. But underneath that controversial shell sat the exact same heart as BMW's most celebrated M3. Now let's get into the numbers, and every figure here is pulled straight from manufacturer data and verified road tests, not guesswork. Horsepower first. The M3 E46 makes 333 horsepower in US specification. The Z4M makes 330. That's basically a dead heat. The same engine family with a tiny calibration difference between the two model years. Torque tells the same story. The M3 produces 262 pound-feet. The Z4M produces 262 pound-feet. Identical, because underneath the badge, it's genuinely the same motor. 0 to 60 miles per hour is where things start to separate. The M3 gets there in roughly 5.0 to 5.1 seconds. The Z4M, carrying significantly less weight over the same engine, does it in about 4.8 to 4.9 seconds. It's a small gap on paper, but on a drag strip, that's enough to put the Z4M's nose ahead at the line. Point to the Z4M on this one. Weight is really where the story is told. The M3 E46 coupe weighs in at around 3,415 pounds. The Z4M Roadster comes in at roughly 3,020 pounds, almost 400 pounds lighter, which is the equivalent of removing two full-grown adults from the car. The Z4M Coupe sits in between the two at around 3,295 pounds, still meaningfully lighter than the M3. Top speed is a clean tie. Both cars are electronically limited to 155 miles per hour, BMW's standard self-imposed cap for the era. Unrestricted, both have been recorded going meaningfully faster, but on paper, it's a draw. Price when new puts real distance between them. The M3 Coupe launched in the US at around $45,400 in 2001. The Z4M launched 5 years later at around $51,995 for the Roadster, nearly $50,000 for the Coupe. That's a gap of roughly $6,000 for what is mechanically the same engine. The M3 wins clearly on value. And finally, cool factor. And we want to be upfront that this category is based on researched enthusiast consensus and motoring press sentiment, not our personal opinion. The M3 E46 is widely regarded by owners, forums, and the automotive press as one of the most complete, best-balanced performance cars BMW M has ever built. It's often called the last great analog M3, and that reputation has only grown as prices for clean examples have climbed in the collector market. The Z4M has a smaller, more divisive following. Its Bangle-era styling split opinion the moment it launched, and it never came close to matching M3 sales numbers. But that same rarity has earned it a genuine cult status. It's the engine without the badge, the car people don't expect to be fast until it leaves them behind. Different kind of cool. Not necessarily less of it. There's one category numbers can't fully capture, and that's how each car actually sounds. Same engine, two completely different exhaust setups and cabins around it. Here's the M3 E46 first. Then the Z4M, back to back. Listen closely. Two completely different notes from the same block of metal. And that's actually a perfect way to set up the verdict. So, who actually wins this head-to-head? Honestly, it depends what you're optimizing for. If you care about raw acceleration and power to weight, the Z4M takes it. Same engine, less car to move, quicker to 60. If you care about everyday usability, the M3 wins easily, with 4 seats, a proper trunk, and room for actual passengers in the back. If you care about value for money when new, the M3 wins again, putting more performance per dollar on the table. If you care about rarity and standing out at a car meet where every other enthusiast already owns an E46, the Z4M takes that category outright, especially the coupe. And if you ask which one most enthusiasts would pick blind, with no other information, the M3 E46 is overwhelmingly the answer. Its reputation as one of BMW M's defining cars is simply that strong. So this isn't a clean knockout. It's a genuine split decision, and which side you land on says more about what you want from a car than which car is objectively better. Now here's a question worth chewing on. Same engine, two very different weights. What would it actually cost, in real upgrade dollars, to make the heavier M3 just as quick as the lighter Z4M? Weight reduction parts, suspension work, maybe even some power additions to close that gap completely. We're going to run the real numbers on exactly that build in the next video. So if you've ever wondered what chasing a rival's stats actually costs, that one's for you. That's today's head-to-head. 2 cars, 1 legendary engine, and 2 genuinely different personalities wrapped around it. Which one would you pick if both were sitting in your driveway right now? Drop your answer in the comments. I read all of them. Subscribe if you're new here, and join the stick side. Good after evening.